international time recording clock that I restored several years ago. Entire mechanism is working in here, the whole clock punching mechanism. I drop it down in and punch in to work. There you go. Time to go to work. Here's a quickie view inside. You see all the gears and levers. Keep track of all the different days, 7 days of the week, and keeps track of the time. Back here you can set little cogs that determine at what time of the day you either get clocked in OK, which is blue, or you get clocked in tardy, which is red. Card goes in like so, and you punch the clock. What that did moving over was moving it to the proper day, because you have all your different days spread across here, and then the times. This knob would allow you to adjust where you're going to punch in or out for special circumstances, but only if this key was set up to let you do so. If the owners turned it so, you couldn't change the position, and it was then only controlled by the card punch mechanism. And turning that key on the front would throw out this pin to lock here. I'm unlocked, and I can adjust for whatever in-out time I want. Or now I'm locked and unable to change it on my own. This label on the inside of the clock says that it was made for the Syracuse Rug Works in Syracuse, New York, March 31st, 1925. The clock mechanism will turn this rod here causing the mechanism to cycle and keep up with time. The first thing that it does is turn the hours and minutes directly to keep track of the time, and the time that's tracking here in hour and minutes will get punched on the time card right here. This hammer comes back and punches a card. The time card gets put in and comes to rest against this lever, and that lever adjusts once per day when this cycles past midnight. If you need to adjust it manually, you would lift up on this and it cycles through. You can see that lever now just went all the way back down, so the card can go way down here, and I can cycle through the position of where that card's going to ride, how far deep in it goes, and the depth corresponds to the different days, Monday through Saturday. If you need to change the hour that is getting punched so that your time card synchronizes up with the actual time being shown on the time clock, there's two levers here for hour change and for day change. Pushing back on this one will adjust the hour, Pushing on this one adjusts the day. Here in the back there's two wheels, one in the front, one in the back, and they both have little dogs on them, or pegs. They turn the screw and this peg is adjustable. It can spin and go all the way around in this wheel. And the purpose of this is to adjust this pointer and move it across the time card for the different check-in and check-out times. In, out, and then a third in, out. So as this rotates, you can see that when I get to right here, the time is stated here, 10 o'clock coming up on 11. When I get to 11 o'clock and it starts to raise this bar up in the air, that's hooked over to here, going down to here, and then over to here, which is going to move this pointer over. So I'll spin it, and as we drop off of that peg right there, the pointer goes to the next position, which we're moving from coming in the morning to checking out at lunch. When we drop off here, that translates down to here and moves the pointer here. The second wheel in the back, the larger diameter wheel, is for determining when the employee is tardy or on time. We're coming up on 6 o'clock in the morning. This little peg has been set for 6. And as I roll over 6 o'clock, I change to being on time. So from 6 o'clock all the way to 8 o'clock, I'm on time. And then after I roll past 8 o'clock, from then all the way on to noon is being tardy. Then I go back to being on time for this short amount of time, and back to being tardy. Being on time or tardy translates into getting your time card stamped with either blue ink for on time or red ink for tardy. I'm on time right now, and as I stamp, the blue ink will line up with the hammer. So you'll notice that the blue ink stays in line with this hammer when I stamp. If I am tardy, I'll set it to tardy. Now when I go to stamp, you'll notice the ribbon raise up so that red is in position with the hammer. And there's mostly blue with a red over the top of it because I just stamped red. A close-up of getting stamped. We switch from on time to tardy. Every time we go up and over that cog on the outer wheel, and every time we switch back and forth between on time and tardy, this lever here is allowed to move left or right, and there's a ledge, a step right here that'll catch on this pin. And when we're forward and we have caught that pin, that raises the ribbon. But if we are on time and we move away from that ledge, then we will not raise the ribbon. At the end of the ribbon on each side is a staple sticking out, and as the ribbon moves along, when we get to that staple, each time the card is punched, we move the ribbon a little bit to keep fresh ink for punching, but when that staple hits that rod, it switches and reverses so that we roll back in the other direction. So in this way, we are always moving the ribbon, always have fresh ink to stamp with. And this rod that gets moved by the staples, they come down and engage the ribbon driving gear down here. We either are engaged on this side to turn the ribbon, or when I flip this over, this side comes over and engages here to move the ribbon in the opposite direction. On this side we have a gear that's being driven directly from the main shaft coming down from the time clock mechanism. And this is calibrated or marked with the hours of the day, and this is used to calibrate and synchronize the card punch with the time clock itself.
For more information, visit GameRoomRepair.com.